Welcome teachers, students, and artists to the Sargent Art Room. My name is Megan and I'll be your host today as we talk about Sargent Art, new products, and the whole reason you're here, today's lesson. Today's lesson is called Stained Glass, Tiffany Style. All lessons can be found on the Sargent Art website, but in this video, we're going to take the lesson and put a twist on it, so don't miss out. To make this lesson, you'll need multi-purpose paper, pencils, a ruler, black permanent marker, acrylic gloss, optional paintbrush, and today's highlighted product, tempera paint sticks. By this time, you're probably noticing a pattern. You might even be thinking, wow, this company produces all the art materials that I could need for my classroom. Art supplies, art materials, art essentials, Sargent Art is your one-stop shop. With all products being certified non-toxic and new products being developed all the time, there is always something new to try from Sargent Art. Which is why this lesson has a twist. In the normal stained glass Tiffany style lesson, the lesson calls for crayons and markers. And although I love the Sargent Art markers, I obviously don't have to show you how to use them. So instead, we'll be using tempera paint sticks. But I don't have to tell you how awesome these are. You can judge that for yourself. So let's jump in. Here is the finished product. This is a 5-step lesson designed for 6th grade, learning about the art of stained glass. This lesson is a great way to introduce the artists Louis Comfort Tiffany, Marc Chagall, and Henri Matisse. At the end of this lesson, we hope our students walk away saying, wow, stained glass windows are an architectural element with significant historical importance, and I feel like I have a real grasp of the radial balance concept. They may not say it exactly like that, but we can dream, right? While we're hoping they understand this goal, they will be touching 3 of the visual art national standards for grades 5th through 8th. Don't worry if you don't have these memorized. Again, it's all in the lesson plan, Stained Glass Tiffany Style, at sargentart.com. To start this project, we need a multimedia paper. This is key for the variety of media we are going to be using today. But you can cut this in half for a more manageable piece. To start off this project, we need to first sketch the landscape. So here I've drawn a rough outline of what my landscape is going to look like. And because of the tools that we're using today, these tempera paint sticks, it doesn't have to be very detailed. These paint sticks are not designed for very detailed work. So this rough sketch is going to be just perfect for what we're doing here. When we're looking at some of the other ways that you can do this, whenever we go to color this one, the black line is actually just going to be a skinny line that follows the paper. This one I designed so that we color the entire strip here. All of the X's mark where I need to go through with marker and line it after we're done coloring. It's a little bit of a different approach there, but it is really cool both ways, so I did want you to see both of those. Let's go back to our one here. Now that I know where the window lines are going to be, I can actually start to color in my picture. These are the paint sticks, and Sargent Art has a variety of colors. These colors over here come in the assorted colors pack, while our colors on the side over here, these are the neons, and these ones are the metallic ones. So let's go ahead and pick some colors, and I can start coloring in. can fix the river, make it more flowing, right, fill in any of those white gaps that went in. Now this is optional, you do not have to go in with the paintbrush. I do like the look more and I think it makes it look really cool. I think it is an awesome property of these paint sticks, the ability to go in with a paintbrush and still have them act like paint. We have used our tempera sticks to make our picture here. Now we can stop here, let this dry, and then add on our black marker. But I really do enjoy the properties of these tempera sticks being able to be used as paint. So I like to go back in and just kind of start blending it, fixing up the edges, really make it look really nice and just smooth. When we think of Tiffany art, it's usually a very smooth painting. These colors can mix together if we want them to. Sharpen some of these lines, blend it all nicely. If you decided not to do the paintbrush, your project can look like this. So you can see this one here, you still have those beautiful, vibrant colors, lots of awesome things happening here. If we compare the two side by side, they both do still look really, really great. I think that because the tempera paint sticks have this ability to go in with a paintbrush and to do some extra work there, I think that that's just a really fun attribute and I do like to utilize it. But again, look at something beautiful that you can create that you don't have to have the paintbrushes for. I made these lines really dark so that you could see it here on the camera. You don't have to make your pencil lines this dark, but it does help, of course, for coloring it in later. So let's go ahead and color in our entire picture. It's time for the last step. We do need to let this marker dry, but I want you to see the difference between this picture and one that has the acrylic gloss. So take a look. Here's our picture. All right, and here's one with the acrylic gloss. See that shine that's in there? This looks lovely the way it is, but we're gonna go ahead and put the gloss so that it has this nice glossy texture and just helps get our picture looking more like a window. Here is our acrylic gloss. We are gonna take this acrylic gloss and spread it around our entire picture just to help give it that lovely shine today. And we're gonna do something special, okay? I'm gonna take this acrylic gloss and I'm gonna put enough that fits in this water bottle cap. Now this is gonna be the fun part because all I need is the amount that's gonna fit in here. So take a look, it's not gonna be much. We're just gonna pour that right in there. All right, just a capful. And this is gonna be enough for my whole picture. I wanna set this right here. Now, normally I've been speeding up a lot of different parts in this video, but this one, we're gonna do this one in real time, and that's because you're gonna see how fast this dries. This is some super fast drying product here. So I'm gonna do this little square. I'm gonna show you how nice and fast it dries. You want a very thin layer, super nice and thin, and make sure not to go over the stuff you've already went through before it dries. You can go over it again once it's dry, but while it's drying, do not go over it. That's really important. So you saw me paint this? Dry, dry, crazy, crazy. It is super dry. It's just such quick drying stuff. You could get this done, oh, just a matter of minutes, and it is just dry, done, moving on. Last part of the project. Now the nice thing is because this is a gloss, I can just hold my picture up and get that shine, and then I'll know what areas I might have missed. Right, with a picture this size, you're bound to miss something, but it's okay. We'll just see where the gloss is and then we'll add some. All right, now that this stuff is perfectly dry here, I don't have to worry, all right, about what could happen. Now you're probably wondering like, oh goodness, what happens? You know, what happens if you go over it while it's still drying? Well, I'll show you. I'll show you. I did it earlier. I did it on accident. All right, so you see this picture here? All right, this, I just kept kind of going back and forth, and then we started smearing our picture there, back and forth. So after you go over it, you wanna go move on, just keep moving along the page here. You can go back once it's dry and then, you know, paint over it and then you don't have to worry. But if you just keep over and over and over while it's trying to dry, you're gonna end up with this part here, which is not what we want. Look, take a look at that cap. Take a look at that cap. I have not refilled my small little cap. Oh my goodness, I tell you, this varnish goes for ages. Oh, it is just so great. One bottle lasts you such a long time. So many kids can use this without you needing another bottle. All right, and looks like that's done. And look, take a look at that. Look at that. Look at that. We didn't even use the whole thing. I still have just a little bit left there. One capful was enough for this whole picture though. Oh, it's just so exciting. So exciting. So there is our finished product. Let's take a look at some other examples, right? This was the one that I showed you early on in the video. So you can compare our two different windows here. They're both a landscape scene. I went with a different window look in this one. You can get inspired by looking at some of the Tiffany art windows to compare them there. So we have this one here. I briefly showed you this example. Remember when we did this one here, these two flowers I showed you, right? This is the one that we saw that I did earlier, right? You would color in this whole piece here, right? And you'd get the big windows here, but this one instead ends up like this picture here because we just take the line. See, I'm actually not gonna color it in. We're gonna just take and follow the lines. See, and that's the example that we have here. You can just kind of go over the line several times to make them a little bit thicker, but they're not gonna look as thick as this window one here. It is definitely a fun way to do it. If you wanted to do a smaller sheet, here's an example of a smaller sheet, right? That's half of the size there. And this particular one, we went with an abstract design. So you can go with an abstract one. Again, this is one where we just colored over the lines instead of actually filling them in. So this is that half sheet that's smaller. It's also an abstract. One of the things I'll show you here, we curved the edges with the scissors. So if you wanted to, you could take your window and maybe you want to curve it, make it like those big arched windows that we see, you know, at churches and different cathedrals and stuff. Lots of just different variations that you can take with this project, which makes it lots of fun and really cool to do. But once again, here is our finished product that we did from start to finish in today's video. And one more thing I do want to show you when it comes to this. So take a look here. Here's our image, right? Remember how I showed you the gloss beforehand and the gloss afterwards? We can see the gloss really well on this picture. All right, this one I did half gloss, half not. So take a look, let's see. Now, if I've done my job, I've one, inspired you to take this lesson and run with it. Make it your own and help your students create award-winning artwork. And two, I've inspired you to try Sargent art products. So much that you're like, where can I buy these? I'm so glad you asked. Sargent art materials are sold by several retailers. Basically, wherever you normally get your art supplies, chances are they carry ours as well. And I'm gonna go ahead and pass this off to Sharon. She can tell you more about the products we use today, as well as a whole lineup of very popular products that Sargent Art sells.
Thank you, Megan. Hello, everyone. My name is Sharon. I am a retired art teacher and an art consultant for Sargent Art. Megan showed you some awesome projects using Sargent Art materials. I've been using their products for many years now, and I'm going to be telling you about them, starting with the ones she used in the stained glass Tiffany style lesson. But stick around to hear about some of their most popular products you may have been missing out on. Sargent Art is a leading United States manufacturer and importer of excellent quality art materials for education, fine art, and crafts. One of the products Megan used in this lesson is the tempera paint sticks. They come in a tube you twist up, just like lipstick. They are smooth and quick drying, easy to use, and come in vibrant classic colors, as well as metallic and fluorescent. No water is needed. You can use them like crayons, coloring directly onto paper, or, like you saw with the lesson, you can also use them with a wet brush, like watercolors. The acrylic gloss she applied can be used as a varnish or medium. For a varnish, use over finished work to protect and enhance and increase color depth. Did you notice in one of the examples that Megan showed you, half the picture had the gloss and the other half didn't? Adding that gloss really made the colors pop, as well as made it look more like a beautiful stained glass window. To use the acrylic gloss as a medium, mix with acrylic paint to increase gloss, ease paint flow, and increase transparency. Sargent Art has Taklon brushes made with the finest synthetic nylon fibers to hold paint and enhance control. The type of paper used for the stained glass lesson was the multi-purpose paper. This paper is acid-free and can be used with colored pencil, charcoal, ink, marker, and paint. Sargent Art has a variety of papers and pads for all your project needs, all of which are non-toxic and acid-free. We talked about the tempera paint sticks, but Sargent Art also carries a variety of paints, including tempera, acrylic, and watercolors. Their tempera paint is the only tempera paint in the world with no foul odor. Their acrylic paints are vibrant, concentrated pigmentation. They come in the classic colors, as well as metallic and neon. There's liquid watercolor, which Sargent Art calls watercolor magic. This rich, intense pigment makes it a fun and versatile product, truly one of my favorite Sargent Art products. To get regular watercolor consistency, you would have to add up to 5 parts of water to each part of the liquid watercolor. This makes it a very economical medium. You pay for 1 bottle, but it's like getting 6 bottles worth of paint. You can use straight out of the bottle or dilute with water. Sargent Art has several kinds of clay. Flexible clay, air hardening clays that come in white and terracotta, non-hardening modeling clay, and sculpted and air-dry clay. Sculpted is cream-colored, smooth, soft, and pleasant smelling. It is water-soluble, which means you can work with it as long as you like. Just keep it moistened with a few drops of water, which also means it reconstitutes. You can even use it to make a slip for the slip and score method when you're working with clay. Once dried, it can be softened again by simply putting it in water. Smaller items will dry overnight. Larger items would take longer to dry. Once completely dry, it can be painted. It takes all types of paint very well. Colored pencils. They have the standard color pencils in the classic colors, as well as neon and metallic color pencils. Their construction paper pencils have a softer lead than the regular colored pencils, which makes it easier for little ones to color and for older kids to blend. These show up very well on black construction paper, especially turquoise, pink, and the light green. There is the 50 count Supreme Artist Pencil Set that has a little bit of everything, including pencils for coloring and drawing, watercolor pencils, charcoal pencils, and metallic pencils. An incredible set that comes in a beautiful box. Moving on to markers. They sell a variety of markers from the classic colors in fine and broad tip to brush tip markers, washable markers, extra fine line markers, which are great for detail work, dual tip alcohol-based markers with a broad tip on one end of the marker and a fine tip on the other end, as well as liquid metal metallic markers, which really pop dramatically on black paper. I've talked about several products here today, many of which are favorites of mine, but these are not all of the products Sargent Art has. There are many, many more, and you can go to sargentart.com to see all the products, look through the catalog, view the lessons, and learn about the Sargent Art online art contest. Thank you so much for joining me and Megan today. It was truly our pleasure to share this lesson and the Sargent Art products with you. Our customers are our future, and we want to thank you for helping us build an exceptional brand that the art industry can be proud of at prices that you can afford. Our goal will be to continually exceed your expectations as our success depends on you.